Mike, thank you very much for your time, and I really appreciate that you're doing the interview about the H2a visa program with me, because that helps the viewers and everybody that's subscribed and following me to learn more about the program and that they can hear it from farmer that's on the program. So I appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Okay. How long have you been doing H2a?
I believe this is our 8th year. I had a cousin that had H2A in a custom shopping business, and so he's been doing that for 20 years, and we used to send trucks down and help him out, so that's kind of how I learned about it. At that time, I couldn't understand why anybody'd hire somebody from a faraway place, why?
Yeah.
Well, until your area gets exhausted from local talent.
Yeah.
And that's come from a lot of things, from the farms. We farm farms today. Our granddaddy used to farm fields. We farm this farm as like a field used to be. So instead of having 20 fields, now you have 20 or 30 or 40 farms.
Yeah.
I have customers in our retail operation that we work with that have near 70 landlords. So they
It has changed
a lot. And we're one generation removed from that family farming that family farm. So that being said, you don't have any farm kids anymore. You don't have any kids that grew up even on a small farm and learned the ways of farming.
Yeah.
Maybe their neighbor had a little bigger equipment than they had, but they still knew the concept. They still knew the work ethic. They still knew what it meant that, well, the hay's down and it's not ready to make on Saturday. Guess the good Lord's going to have to excuse us, and you work Sunday. So then you move to the next generation from the once removed farm to the generation of the basement kids that never moved out of the house, never did anything on the farm, never even had a job till they were 30 years old, and when they did, they wanted a $100,000 a year job pushing buttons on a keyboard. And then it's like, well, yeah, I'll come help you, but, well, I can't work Thursday night because the kids got a ball game. I can't work Friday because my wife don't have to work. And Saturday and Sunday we're going fishing.
So there's always
an agenda.
Yeah. I get this question a lot. While you're mentioning it, is that why do American farmers employ foreign workers, and what is wrong with the workforce in the USA that they don't want to work on farms? Is there different generations, like you've mentioned now, that's growing up now, that's more, they can make money online. They can just open up a laptop and make videos or start a channel, make money like that. And what's the reason, you think?
Well, the other part is anybody outside the U.S. thinks the American farmer is rich.
Yeah. Well, I think we think so. I think so.
Yeah. And it's so contrary to the truth. Yes, we now have newer, larger equipment because we're not farming 30, 40 fields. We're farming 30, 40 farms. Yeah. And we just cannot afford that downtime. We can't afford it not to go. And it's, there is no used equipment of that size when it first started. Now there's a lineup of used equipment. So you have the two type of farmers in this country. You have the one that's mechanically inclined himself and can fix things. And then you have the guy that doesn't feel that's even smart. He'll buy the new, keep it under warranty, let the dealer keep it fixed. And then that was fine till we got to this where we're at now, and this used electronic equipment, and the fight we have with the dealerships in this country to allow us the information to fix them ourselves. It's staggering.
It's a problem.
It's staggering. The American farmer is intelligent enough, trust me, to fix his own equipment, but he still has to have some tools to do it with.
Yeah.
Schematics and drawings and troubleshooting guides and tablets with the proper software on them. Yeah. The dealer comes out, he can punch into John Deere and get a DTAC case started, and you got, a group of engineers that are working on his problem on the backside.
Yeah, I guess that's how they make their money. You have to pay them to come out to fix a problem you can't fix.
Turn that around one more time, and all their used equipment, I'll call it junk now, because if it can't be fixed by anybody but them, it is junk to anyone but them. So then think of what the value of their used equipment's worth. One more step, we're not there, but just piss off the American farmer one more time, then nobody will want the used stuff.
Yeah.
So it'll be devaluated so bad, they wish they would have given a little help to get it fixed.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a bitter subject.
Yeah. And I guess, how many South Africans do you hire?
We currently use 8.
Okay.
And we should have more like 10.
Yeah.
But housing's a big issue.
Yeah.
To get more on our contract, then it's another step, and then just add 2 more, then that's a lot of expense in housing.
Probably have to get another house or
Yes.
something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
What's your experience been with so many South Africans working for you on the same farm the last few years that you've been doing this? How's your experience been with using South African workers?
from absolutely horrible train wreck to awesome.
Yeah.
It's unfortunately, but
You'll have to explain.
You pay as you go, and you learn to develop your own recruiting criteria.
Okay.
Is the biggest thing.
Okay, so I guess that the train smash is where you've recruited some guys that it didn't work out at all. Was it because of the CV that was wrong? Was it a wrong interview?
Some of it was the wrong agent.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a definite difference between agents.
Yeah.
We currently use USA Farm Labor, and
Yeah.
we actually were with them we were with someone else for a couple of years, and then we were with Manuel and USA Farm Labor
Yeah.
for a year. And then we had our outs over, it couldn't have been nothing too much, but we
Yeah.
just thought we'd try somebody else.
Yeah.
Tried somebody else, and bad got worse.
Yeah.
Went back with Manuel for the last 5 years, and I think it's very important to be open to the people you're working with.
Yeah.
And really let them know what is your most important thing you're trying to accomplish. And then they can help you do that. And they've been spectacular.
Yeah.
Terry is our go-to gal there. Maybe this is giving her a plug, but
Yeah.
hats off. I
Yeah.
don't say thank you enough, but they do a good job, you know, and right down to we've actually had some situations that we've worked with outside of our relationship with H2A, but worked on legislation for the H2A.
Yeah.
And Manuel's been very instrumental in helping lead that and going forward. So, you know, it's not just about how much he can make on it. It's like, what can we do to change it so policy gets changed and make the program better?
Yeah. I think, Mike, with a lot of, there's a big misconception about working in America, especially like if you're from South Africa or any country that's on the H2A program. I don't know if you knew, but there's 90 countries.
Yes, that can use the program.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And I think Mexico and South Africa is the biggest visa sort of holders there. But yeah, coming back to the misconception about working in America, have you seen that? Like, have you hired guys in the last 8 years that you could see that they had a misconception about working on?
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
One thing is I don't really think any of them, their first year coming here, have any clue to what work in America is. The term work does not mean the same thing everywhere.
Yeah.
Many places, if you're just there in body, you're on the clock, you showed up, you're at work. You're at work.
Yeah.
That's not at work for us. At work means, okay, we're done with coffee, let's give her hell, boys.
Yeah.
Now we're at work. And then it's not, hey, what are you thinking about Friday night? You want to go see them girls again? You know, what's the deal? No, when you're at work, you're expected to be talking about, hey, do we need another load of 28 coming to the field? Or are we going to have enough for the day? Thinking ahead, a couple hours ahead. Your head needs to be at work along with your ass.
Yeah.
Too many people's brains are back home. And trust me, I feel for you guys. You come here, it's a big commitment, right? And it's not easy. It's kind of comparable to going in the military.
Yeah.
No matter what, you don't get to go home.
Yeah.
You know? And you're not allowed to just sit and talk on the phone all day long. I mean, there's a difference if you're driving a tractor back and forth across the field, if your brain can work while you're talking. But if you're paying attention, you can do that. But if you're in the shop working and stuff, no, I'm sorry, that phone call will have to wait. You know, you can't just... That's and I have a policy that if you want to make a personal call, that's fine, but punch out. And, you know, we keep track of our time on the phone. So it's as easy as bringing it up, clicking out. Make your phone call, and you think, oh, it's only a couple minutes. Well,
sometimes
it's not a couple minutes.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe me, I have the phone logs because we supply the phones. It's pretty easy to pick a South African call out. You know. So you take that time, and then you take that time times 10 men. It's huge. Everybody calls home for a half hour a day. You know, that's 5 hours a day. I could buy you lunch. I could buy everybody lunch. You know, for the labor that come against it, let alone the phone call. So, but yeah, I think work is a misconception. And the average farm in America, I mean, we work not just long hours, but physically demanding. I mean, it's every day.
Monday through Sunday.
Yeah. And, you know, maybe I'm one of the dumb bosses, but I work right alongside. I don't expect anybody to do anything that I haven't done or won't do myself.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, If we're hauling grain and it's time to sweep the bottom of the bin and my truck's the next one in line, guess what? I sweep my portion of the time the sweep is running and expect the next guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying if the last load was mine and there's only one left, it's like, hey, Jake, do me a favor, will you?
Yeah, go and do it.
I'm sitting this one out. But for the most part, I'll, no different than the next guy in line.
Yeah. Okay, so your 8 years you said 8 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, I mean, I'm sure you got to a stage now where you understand how to do an interview.
Most definitely.
To get the right guy to come and work for you. And what is the questions, like, if it can help anybody, I'm sure it will, but like, what questions do you ask in an interview?
Well, what I do first of all is, and it would be different if someone was just going to get one guy or two guys.
Yeah.
But like with a crew, first thing I do is I fill slots, and we do exit interviews every year, which is nothing more than recap and decide what bonuses will be and how the year went and good, bad, ugly, whatever it is, it's got to be discussed to make the business better and to make the employee better for me or for the next guy.
Yeah.
Because the last thing you want to do is leave an employer in a bad way. Even if you're in a bad way, you need to sit down, have a discussion before you leave. Yeah. Don't ever leave in the middle of the night. Don't ever, even though you think you're...
And has it happened with you?
Yes. Yeah. It's like, I've had one guy looked, was hoping to have him do something, and then pretty soon nobody can find him. Didn't even know he was gone. It's like, so then you're worried about, well, was he out last night?
Yeah,
where did he go? Who's the last guy seen him?
Yeah.
And the worst thing you can have is a group of guys that cover up, and the whole crew knew where he was but me.
Yeah.
And nobody was willing to narc on him, they said.
Yeah.
Well, I was more worried for his safety than anything.
Yeah, you're responsible.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So then, for that matter, then after that, we went to a policy where we give every employee a phone. We dedicate the phone, and anytime you're either at work or have a piece of my equipment, whether it be a pickup that you're driving, a tractor, combine, anything company owned, you will have your phone with you, and we share location. So I always say, well, if you're not worried about doing something wrong, then you have no problem with sharing. I mean, they all share my location. Every person I have work for me knows where I'm at, 24/7. They can look right at my location. And it's a beautiful thing because...
And it's on Google.
Yeah.
It's Google Share. Right?
Yeah, exactly. It's free. Yeah. So it also works to their advantage because when they need to go to the group, say you're combine on a certain farm, you just look at your phone. Oh, they're all there. Just go over there.
You don't even have to call.
No, driving directions right to them.
Yeah.
It's just so simplified.
Mr. Must get that.
So it once you get past that, somebody's watching me. They always know where I'm at. Well, if you're where you should be, I know where you're at anyhow, right?
Yeah.
Because you're supposed to be either at the house or at work,
Yeah.
But that being said, you'll understand that the more you share, the more you're trusted. And trust is a big thing in this country. We're not thieves. Everybody says, I can't believe you leave your keys in the car.
Yeah.
Well, if my neighbor needed a vehicle and his broke down and he's driving by or walking by, he knows he can go take mine home.
Yeah.
Send me a text. Hey, I had to steal a truck. I took it home. I'll bring it back in the morning. You're not going to come looking for the keys at 2 a.m. People don't steal stuff here. They share it. They trade uses of things that you have, so that somebody else don't have to buy everything. But once you live in a country where you don't trust your own brother, it's got to be very difficult. Yeah. And to get that out of that culture. Yeah. Everybody always talks about race. And I've been around much of the world in all different countries and all different racial cultures and stuff. And I realized years ago, color's got nothing to do with anything. It's actually culture. Because if you don't believe it, most of this country used to be. Now it's getting multi-racial, building much more and much more every year. But, the culture of a white man in America isn't the same in the North as the South and the West. It's just different. Because basically that's what you grew up with. That's what you think the norm is. And if you want to know what culture your child's going to be, tell me where he was at when he was 3, 4, 5, 6 years old.
Yeah.
That's what he's going to think is culture and normal.
Yeah.
Your whole life. That's what you got a snapshot of normal. So it doesn't matter what color the neighbor was.
Yeah. It's how they grew up in the house and
without a doubt,
what they've been taught.
They respected their parents or their elderlies.
I think that's a big challenge for a lot of foreigners coming to America on the HA program is the culture difference. And it's nothing like exactly what you said. It's not a racial thing. It's that there's different belief systems. There's different ways of doing things. And I think we as South Africans, we're a very proud nation. And I mean, like we had to fight for everything since whenever we were there way back. I think there's a lot of pride in us.
Can I stop you for 1 second?
Yeah.
Did you ever personally yourself fight?
At school.
But you know what I'm
No,
saying?
no,
That's a generation removed, right?
Yeah.
So your deep pride was brought to you by 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, not yourself. So that's what I really think we all have to be open-minded enough as we get older and realize maybe the story wasn't told exactly the way it really was.
Yep.
You know, nothing against Granddaddy, nothing, but you know, maybe it's time we start with us.
Yep.
To just, you know, change it a little bit.
Things
and I bet coming to this country opened your eyes to that a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what helped me by going to China, Bulgaria, to Russia, to the UK. I mean, I've been to many different countries.
Yeah,
and
you need to come to South Africa.
I actually had 2 hunting trips to South Africa. I did, but I gave them away because that was a couple years ago when things were pretty crazy over there.
Yeah.
I didn't think I wanted to deal with that.
It's still, but it's not that bad.
I know enough people there now. I guess I could hire some bodyguards.
Yeah, you can find the South Africans.
That's what I'm talking about. They'd be my bodyguards.
Let them come and help. Okay, what do you look at when you hire somebody?
Okay, so I got off the beaten path. So thanks for reeling me back in.
That's fine. We'll edit that.
Yeah. So, like I said, if you had 1 or 2, it'd be different. But when I have 8 guys like I do, or if you had 4 or 5 or 6, you dice up your duties that you need to get done.
Yeah.
And then as you're interviewing, you put each guy in a matrix that would best fit that slot. Like, he's a mechanic, okay?
Yeah.
The next guy don't know a wrench from a 2x4. So you put their strongest points down in your matrix, so what you need done. Yeah. You know, I need a sprayer operator, I need a combine operator, I need a mechanic, I need a welder, a fabricator. And actually, I made the mistake this year of saying I need a welder, and I got a welder. To me, a welder is a fabricator here.
Yeah. Okay?
This gentleman could weld. Nice guy, good guy.
Yeah.
But he's no fabricator. Absolutely is no fabricator. Can't read a tape measure, you know. Sure. The other thing, so you pick their strongest parts, and then you look at, okay, you got a bunch of good guys, but if you got a void that's not going to get covered, somebody on the good guys got to get cut, and you got to get that void. Because otherwise, you're going to feel that void all season long. Yeah. You know? I mean, I was that way this year. My last guy, I needed a sprayer operator. My oldest son has got stage 4 bone cancer, and he has done the majority of the spraying for the last 10 years. So just putting anybody in his shoes is impossible to fill. But it was important that we found somebody that had experience. And the other part is really tough is you could have somebody with thousands of hours of experience. And if they have 0 experience in these hills... Yeah.
I mean, it was quite an eye-opener for me coming here to Wisconsin and getting in a combine, and it's up and down, and I mean...
respecting the weight and...
yeah, not filling up the combine. Some places...
when not to fill it.
Yeah, exactly, and I mean, that's... Okay, another question about if you had 10 prospective candidates to come and work for you, how do you choose from their... Because what do you see from a South African before you hire him? You see a profile online, or you see a CV.
That piece of paper doesn't mean anything to me.
But you have to choose. How do you, like, okay, let me ask you this, because that's what I get asked a lot, is like, how do you, that CV that you create, okay, the CV I create and the cover letter and CV video, we send that to an agent, the agent distributes it to the farmers, I guess that's how it works, and you have to make a decision, okay, do I like this picture on the CV, does this, I like this face, let me take this CV, put it on that pile, I like these skills, how do you choose from a pile of CVs? Do you even look at the CV video, if there is a CV video available?
When I get down to someone of interest, yes, I'll look at it. Yeah. But what's a bigger thing to me than anything? Simply talking to them. Okay. And doing a video call. Yeah. And just conversation. Yeah. I'm pretty good with first impressions, so it's a big help. Yeah. And I'm not always spot on, but I tell you what, more often than not, pretty much peg it. And then the other thing is, I want to talk to a past employer. Yeah. And
what do you ask?
Well, it's really easy to tell the ones that are lying. Like, you got a brother or a buddy that they're past ref. No, they don't tell you that. They say, how do I know that you're his supervisor from work, from the mine? Yeah. So call them, and then when I get done question about the possible employee, then I always ask the reference. I said, so then how are you related to him? He said you guys were related, you know,
Oh.
and you'd be surprised how many I busted. My God.
You just throw it in the
Just
bush.
throw it in, you know. Just once they're all comfortable and this is all no pressure at all, you know,
Yeah.
it's like busted,
Yeah.
busted. You know, because if you're anybody, you're not jumping ship. And say you're a guy that's got all this experience. You've sprayed or combine, and you're a great farmer, you know, but you've never been to the same job twice. That's a big red flag.
Okay, so you mean like back to the same farm,
Right.
Maybe in America?
No.
Okay.
I mean, if you go to a different farmer in America, every year you come here and you've been here 10 years and you've been to 10 different places.
Yeah,
That's a red flag.
because not all of those farms can be bad.
Not all can be bad, and how could you be better off starting new? How can you get a better contract or a better
If you're new
if
every
you're a
year.
new man every year?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're worth your salt, I'm going to give you an incentive to come back. I just that's how it works here.
Yep.
And if you're worth it, you get it. And you have to build your program around the unknown, you know, so if somebody's a real partier or whatever, I just nipped that right at the very start. I mean, we had an absolute wonderful group this year. 8 guys, all living in the same house. I mean, it's a big house. They all have their own room, so it's not like they're crowded or anything. But they're still in the same house, right? Yeah. And 8 guys, that's, you know, you got one that farts every day, all day long, it's going to start getting pretty stinky, and he's got to go, right? I mean, whatever it is, right? Yeah. And I've had 8 guys in there multiple years, and there's been trouble. There's always somebody that thinks they, you know, God's gift to women, and they're going to party all night long, and they bring girls to the house and stuff. Wow. Pretty soon, you gotta wreck it for everyone. Yeah. There's no reason you couldn't have some lady that you met and you're a nice girl and come over and have a couple drinks at home instead of at the bar. You know, fine. But you get to the point where somebody wrecks it, then you just have to put your foot down. It's like, sorry, none, no, zero, none. You know, you cannot have 1 ounce alcohol driving a company vehicle. No. Zero. No. Nothing.
That's dismissal. That's
I'm sorry, nothing. No. I've had guys wreck $30,000-$40,000 pickups, and they think, well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. You know, sorry doesn't fix nothing. You know, I'm sorry, it don't fix nothing. No. You know, so what do you do? And then, you know, you fire them, they go home, and you're still out the truck. No. You can't, you know, another bad thing with the program, and you maybe want to edit some of this negative stuff because it's not all negative. Yeah. But somebody wrecks your property, puts their fist through your wall in your house. Well, if you rented a house at home, or anybody here rented a house at home, it's going to come out of your security deposit. Yeah. First of all, you're not going to get it back when you leave, or you'll pay the damages. Yeah. But here, they just run away and go home. How do you go to South Africa and get somebody to pay $300 to fix a wall? How do you can't take it out of their check? Yeah. You know, it's like, that's not a fair deal. But I don't like to dwell on all the negative, because there's going to be negative everywhere. Yeah. You know, and everything's a scale, right? Because if there were so many negatives, why would I have them here? Yeah. You know, I will say that the really good trait of a South African culture, they're not afraid of work. Yeah. You need to show them what you have to work with. I mean, I'm a guy that loves his tools. I love the right tool for the job. Yeah. And if you got a man working, he needs his own tool. Yeah. You don't need to be waiting to share an impact wrench to do his job. If you want him to work efficiently, you have to have enough tools to share so everybody has them, you know. Yeah. But oftentimes, their way of fixing something is get the torch. Take a bearing, change a bearing, torched. Yeah. No, we use a puller first. Yeah. We try everything so we don't wreck the shaft, so we don't do more damage. But if you don't have the proper pullers and whatnot, you
gotta use a torch. Yeah.
And once in a while, then they'll be like, see, I told you. Yeah. I had to use the torch anyhow. Yeah. But that's the last resort, not the first. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And you just have to have them work for you long enough so that they understand what it is you want, what it is you expect. And it's impossible to sit down and tell somebody that all up front. It's impossible. And they wouldn't retain it anyhow. Yeah. Never remember it.
It sort of happens throughout the season. And
it does.
Look, I've had a bad experience on a farm where the conditions were bad. I mean, we lived in a trailer that was mice infested next to big bins, feedlot, and the smell was horrible, and it was just a very bad experience, but I stuck it out. And I really believe, I mean, you know, it's my faith and believing in God and all that helps me to do that. But I think a lot of guys coming to America from South Africa has similar experiences, and that, but also there's a clash of personalities a lot of the times that I've experienced with other guys, and seeing that, you know, I'm trying to help as many guys as I can, but I mean, it's difficult to help someone that you know, you can place them on a farm, but you know he's going to fight with the farmer. You know he's going to
Just
argue.
that type of personality.
Exactly. So here's my question, and it's possible, and I know there's programs and tests that you can do that to determine personality traits. Do you think if you hire somebody and you can look at a profile and there's a small little test that they've done that shows, listen, this is my personality trait, I'm a bit like this, I'm a bit like this, and it's sort of, do you think it can help? Or it can be jippoed, I guess. I mean, like, so you say the best way is have a conversation over the phone. Okay, but how, like a CV video, because this is my thing that I tell the guys is, listen, very important, make a CV video, don't have to be long. Just tell them who you are briefly, what skills you have, and what benefit the farmer will have to employ you. And it has helped a lot of people, because I think it sort of...
And don't use I'm a quick learner.
I learn fast, I'm willing to work hard. It's a good thing, though, but I mean, yeah.
It's a very good thing, but very few are actually a quick learner in America. You may be a quick learner at home, in your culture and what you're used to. You know, the other thing is, there's few that are going to have what's needed from the get-go. Equipment, I mean, they can't even fathom the size, let alone the dollar amount. You know, it's the biggest positive is someone that can, one, admit that he screwed something up immediately. I mean, you have no idea what it's like to be told that, hey, I hit a post. It did this, you know.
I know exactly what happened.
Not a big deal. Yeah. I mean, it looks okay. But yeah. I just want to let you know, so in case it tweaks something that I don't know about, you know I did it. Do you know what value that has to me? Enormous. Because it means I can trust you.
Yeah.
Where when you just hold it up and park it and don't say anything, hoping the next guy uses it, because then it could possibly be him that did it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a good idea, though, but that's not the right way.
And then when you find it, it infuriates you.
Yeah.
It just infuriates you.
Yeah. And I mean, that obviously has happened.
Well, that's happened. Somebody's hit a deer and smashed the whole front of the truck, and then why is nobody driving that truck? It's smashed, sir. Everything's sir. You guys are always polite and respectful, but you know.
So that's another question I would like to. Is this thing still recording? Okay, cool. It's a lot, but once you edit it, it goes down quite a bit. What do American farmers, and I know you can't speak for everybody, but in general, because I mean we grew up saying sir and ma'am, and I mean we were hit if you didn't do it. You know, like I'm saying, it's like it's imprinted. But it also showed respect for somebody. It was a form of showing respect if you address somebody as of Tani, that's in our language, sir or ma'am. Do you like being called sir?
No.
But I mean,
my given name was Mike.
You're twice my age.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. But
so let's touch on that age thing.
Okay.
You guys are very much about respect your elders.
Yeah.
So we grew up respecting your elders, but that meant don't smart off to them, don't, be polite to them.
So it's nothing to do with what you call him.
No. And also, I had a heck of a time with two guys one time that were 3 weeks apart in age. And the older of the two demanded the younger guy give him respect.
Oh, like if it's almost the same age?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
To me, it is the same age.
Yeah.
But then also, one step even worse is you might have a 50-year-old guy. And I've chosen to put a 25-year-old guy as foreman in the shop. And he won't listen to him, because he's not going to listen to that kid. He knows better. And I know the kid understands what I want done and how to get what I want done and the way I want it done way better than the older gentleman. And we have this conflict. And I have to sit the older guy down and say, you either listen to what he tells you. If you have a problem with it, you come to me. You don't come to him. Yeah. And you explain the problem. And I'll straighten it out. But until I do that, you either listen to him or you go home. It's that simple. I'm not going to waste my day putting out these little spits-bats. I've chosen him because I feel he's more acceptable, a better choice for that situation than you are. It's just that simple. It has nothing to do with age.
It's your farm. You can do it.
It has nothing to do with age.
Talking about age is, I think that's where a lot of South Africans struggle. But working with Ryan and Ben being 21, which, I mean, I've got so much respect for that guy and what he taught me being 21. And I mean, I'm 46, and I think
because you gave him that opportunity to show you what he knew.
exactly.
Some people won't even.
Yeah,
get it. They're just,
Yeah.
going to snuff him off to begin with. And I would bet I've worked with both of them,
Yeah.
but not like you have, right?
Yeah.
Not in a shoulder-to-shoulder environment.
No.
And I would bet that you would coin Ben a carbon copy of his father, but a lot softer around the shoulder, around the edges,
Yeah.
and a lot more compassionate,
Yeah.
a lot more understanding,
Yeah.
because he's had to hear that from his father,
Yeah.
and he's felt like you have
Yeah.
from somebody that's and not
Yeah.
willing to give you a time to listen and stuff, because he didn't have the time at that time.
Yeah.
And then Ben, when he was a little younger, he felt just like you do. He's way sharper than I am. He's he's taken everything I've known for the sprayer trucks, for instance. He should be the one you should be interviewing on the sprayers.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that no doubt. I mean, I made the first one in 1989 and brought it up and could tell you everything there is about it. Lee's actually the one that the brains behind the electronics. He's the one that invented that auto steer.
Yeah.
I mean, so he's taken what I invented and just
made
put a
it
polish
better.
on it on
Yeah.
all corners,
Yeah.
100% of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of guys a lot of South Africans can actually, and what I tell a lot of them is, when you come to America, is just be open-minded and forget what you know. Don't come and try and enforce what you know here. Just keep your mouth shut and learn with your eyes, do what the farmer says, and you'll actually have a great season. Because I've been on farms which was difficult, where, guys would go and they'll only be there for a month and they'll leave, or a few months and leave. And I'm not saying that, everybody's different, but I think it's definitely a mindset, it's an attitude, and it's just forget that who you are. Don't be a wimp, stand up for yourself, be a man, all that stuff, but you're making good money, first of all. It doesn't cost you, it costs you something to get here, obviously, but you get it back. You actually...
That doesn't cost you because you're reimbursed.
Exactly.
Yes, not everybody has enough for a plane ticket.
Yeah.
To save up or can put it together. But if you really want to do it, you can put that much together.
Yeah.
You can
exactly.
do it. Or if you are any type of person, you have family that you could borrow it. Look how long you have to borrow it for.
Yeah.
A couple weeks.
Yeah.
Technically a couple weeks.
A month or two, man.
30 days at the most.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you get your money back. And if you're really hardship, well, you can get a one-way ticket and get here on a whole lot less, and then pay your debt back, and then buy a one-way ticket to go back. Yeah. Now, that whole thing may cost you a few $100, the difference, because some farmers will pay that. Some will say that, no, I'm only responsible for what the two-way ticket would have been.
Yeah.
But pretty small change once you've been here. A couple days, let's just face it. If you're making $20 an hour here and you work an average of 10 hours a day, that's $200 a day, and I hate to say
it's a lot of money back home.
There's a lot of guys that are working 15, 16 hours here. So now do that. That's $300 a day,
Yeah, that's
so
good.
I mean, you can easily pay that offset of that ticket and borrow or put enough money together for one way. That's an option.
Yeah.
That's not what I suggest, but if it's that tough and that hard and you're that dedicated to do it, and to me it shows who you are as a person, because if your own family isn't willing to help scrape it together and everybody put $100 together so you can get a $1,000 plane ticket,
that's a good one.
Then where are you coming from? Where are you coming from? Your own blood won't borrow you money because they don't trust you.
Wow, I like that one. That makes sense. I had to borrow money.
Yeah, you guys don't know what borrowing money is. If you want to see what borrowing money, I'll show you my bank notes.
The bank account, is it minus?
Well, it doesn't even matter if it's minus at the time.
Yeah.
It's you put the pluses against the minuses and what's the net,
Yeah.
It's not the daily checkbook, it's, so, there's no replacement for good people. And good starts right here.
Yeah.
But you have to build on it from there.
Yeah. And, I mean, are you willing to employ somebody, even if they don't know everything?
That's why I say they have to fit into that matrix so that they can at least handle that
Something.
one job. So, for instance, everybody that works for me can drive a semi. Okay?
Yeah.
So there's probably 50% of the people that come to me have never drove a big truck, period, let alone a semi. But they must be willing to learn to drive a semi.
Yeah.
And because everybody everything with farming revolves around a truck. There's not a job that we do that don't have a truck associated with it. It's either tendering something in the field, whether it's fuel or fertilizer or chemical, or hauling grain out of the field, hauling grain to the elevator. You know, so all hands on deck must be able to drive. Even like somebody says, well, I never drove truck, I just always drove a combine. Why would I pay somebody to drive the first truck to the combine when you can take the first truck, fill it up, and an hour later the first guy can come and switch trucks? Otherwise, we got two guys standing here doing this. You know, so efficiencies is huge.
It's being efficient. That's what Mr. Ray taught me a lot.
He never never wastes a trip, does he?
No.
If he's going to Centerville, what they're going to need tomorrow or next week is going along, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the other day I had to run errands for him, and so he won't let somebody from the shop fetch him. He knows I'm coming back to the shop, so he calls me up and say, "Hey, can you pick me up?" And
definitely. And that's what sharing that location helps us do so much.
Just get Sheila.
Ray, he would baffle himself if he knew how much that was worth.
Yeah, and I think, a lot of guys, I'm sort of asking questions just so that there's going to be some answers for somebody watching, but a lot of guys ask me, what age is, I'm 18, I just finished school, will I get hired? I'm 50, will I get hired? I'm 60, will somebody still look at me on a farm in America? What's your opinion about that? Will you hire somebody that's 60?
So are they a 70-year-old 60, or are they 50-year-old 60? Yeah. My first comment to a 60-year-old man, because I'm 64, and I will challenge anyone that works for me to hold a shovel next to me. Yeah. So you can't quit till I do. Yeah. And I'm telling you what, there's a whole bunch of them got to get a breath of air, or got to do this, or I just need to grab quick. I just need to go get something quick. Yeah.
So there's hope for
everyone. If they're the right person, like I said, show me your strengths and your willingness. Now, on a crew, I wouldn't want all 60-year-olds, and I don't want all 20-year-olds. I don't want many 20-year-olds because they're young, dumb, and full of cum. You'll have to edit that, but
it's the truth.
And you just got to get that out of their head. You have no idea how many times I've sat right here and says, "What are you here for? The party, or to make money for your girlfriend at home or your wife?" And you know what? I have so many pictures of so many boys doing stuff they shouldn't be doing, and you just wait until they need to be told. And I've never, with the exception of one, showed mama at home or something, but when it just gets so out of hand, and they can lie. They lie to me, they lie to their wives, they lie, and it's like, really, And one year I had just that going on here, and guys were drinking at night, and I mean, we were working long days, some 18-hour days, and go and we had the spring from hell. It rained every other day, and you can't party. There's no human being that can work 18 hours and then sit in the bar for 3-4 hours, go home for 2 hours, and go back to work. No, one time. You're not going to do it 2 nights in a row, 3 nights in a row, 4 nights in a row, and think drink your energy drinks, and So you're either on something that's
stronger,
you're just trained, ready to go off the tracks. Yeah. So this particular individual slid a 24-row planter and a tractor into the woods, busted the side window out of the cab, broke the monitor. So we lost 4 days of the most important days of planting that spring. Yeah. Do you know what that was worth? What that calculated out? So now, once again, somebody's wrecked it for everyone. You have to treat them like children instead of like grown men. And when we're in the heart of the season, we have a no alcohol rule, 0. And I had my longest guy. He liked his whiskey at night. He never went downtown, but he'd sit and drink in the house. Yeah. And it was nothing for him to put a half a bottle away. Yeah. And go to bed. But when I say none, I mean none, and that means for everyone. And he got busted, and he got let go that next morning, and nobody could believe it. But guess what? They know that if I say there's no drinking. Yeah,
you have to sit up.
And it hurt. It was hard. I had tears in my eyes. And if I ever come to South Africa, he'll be my tour guide, because we're still really good friends. We still, and he respected me. He knew he was wrong 100%. I just thought he had the golden ticket. He could do wrong.
Yeah, whatever he wanted to do.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I think this is my last question. What skills do I need to work on a farm in America?
So, number one, you need to decide what kind of farm. There's a lot of different farms. So, first you need to identify, are you looking for a farm or a ranch? Yeah. And do you know the difference between a farmer and a rancher?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, being cattle. I mean, the one is
A rancher is livestock, cattle or sheep,
yeah,
and ranchers are in the West. Okay, if you're going to be a ranch hand and a rancher, you better know how to fix fence and ride a horse.
yeah,
Okay, if you never did either one of those, it's just everything's uphill. You're walking uphill all day long.
yeah,
On the flat ground, because everything's a learning curve. So you have nothing. Doesn't mean you can't be learn how to be a rancher.
yeah,
But if you want to come to America and be somebody and do something, you'll at least take the time. I have people who come here. They never. I mean, you have Google. I know you do.
yeah,
You could at least Google what a rancher does and ranch life in
Yeah.
Montana or whatever. Okay. So then, if you're going to be a farmer, are you a vegetable farmer? Are you a row crop farmer? Are you a livestock farmer? Are you a dairy farmer, a hog farmer, a sheep farmer, a beef farmer?
yeah,
Farmer is broad. It's like the sunshine.
yeah,
Shines on us all.
yeah,
Pick a ray of sunshine. Narrow it down. What you think. Pick one that you think you're interested in. Pick one that you've done anything with. And some will be none. Some are from the city and want to be a farmer. I mean, I had a young guy that come this year. He'd never been on a farm. He didn't know anything about farming, and he's never had a job that was physical, office job. His book work was awesome, but he had one speed, and it was just a notch above reverse. I'm telling you, it was hard. It literally took me standing on the side of the payloader, yelling in his ear for an entire morning.
Yeah.
Keep moving, quit stopping, keep going, go.
Yeah.
Buck into the pile, lift it up, reverse, get backwards already,
Yeah.
keep going back,
Yeah.
Just, and it's funny because he did an awesome job.
Yeah.
And guess what? He got out of driving semi in the spring.
Oh, yeah.
But all of a sudden one day in the summer, I says, it's time to get BJ in a truck. Well, it was deer in the headlights. So we started him with an automatic, and then all the time he was pretty proud of himself.
Oh well.
How old is he? But then when about the time he
Yeah.
thought he was a pretty good truck driver, then I says,
Yeah.
You three guys go haul corn today and
Yeah.
put BJ in a truck with a
Yeah.
stick shift. But why? Because I says, the only name on the door is mine. And I'm not going to allow you to drive only of the 12 trucks we have. Not happening. Because when we take trucks to the field, we park it in the back of the lineup and take the full one in the front and go.
Yeah,
The
you
next
have
guy
to.
pulls in the back and
Yeah.
sit there and wait till your truck's full.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but he did really well.
Yeah.
So it's not impossible, because I'd rather have a guy with no experience and the mentality to learn and the willingness to learn than a know-it-all. And I've done this before, and I know how to do this. Yeah, they know how to do it someone else's way, but not necessarily our way. And there's many things that are so different because, you can, if you have the time, you can explain it all to them. But sometimes you just got to tell them no.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't take that road. You got to take this one. Well,
Yeah.
why?
Yeah.
I know I take that road to town all the time. Yeah, but you're not hauling 100,000 pounds. You're driving a pickup. You're not going up and down that hill with my truck because you're not a good enough guy on the gears to get it there safely. So it's not. There's no easy button, but there is opportunity and possibility for anyone. But the biggest thing is, don't over exaggerate your abilities. State them how they are, just what they are, and you'll just have way less problems when you finally do land that job here. Because I'll tell you what's happened, there's been a fair share of bad ones. First of all, people that just lie and just simply are not willing to physically work.
Yeah.
And, don't raise your voice, or I'm going to report you, or don't make me work on a Sunday because I'm a Christian, and, that's fine, but I don't tell anybody they can or can't. But when you refuse so many times, I can set anybody's schedule, and I'm supposed to give a day off, but it doesn't say it has to be Sunday. Because if the sun's going to shine on Sunday, your day off might be Tuesday. It's just, that's what farming is.
And that's where you have to be very open-minded, coming to
Flexible. You gotta have to be very
Flexible.
flexible. And the other part is from, let me say your side, because it is your side, even though you're here and interviewing, but I'm saying from the employee side, communication. Do you know how many people will tell me in an exit interview what the biggest thing is that bothered them? And if they'd have just told me, would have fixed it. It's not that hard.
So speak what's on your mind, kind of a deal.
Well,
or
definitely.
Whatever bothers you.
Yeah, if something truly bothers you, speak up. And don't do it in the middle of the workday or in the middle of a really busy afternoon. Do it when it's after work. I always tell somebody, if you have something that you want to talk about, personally, whether it's about work or about home or whatever it is, ask to set aside a time that we can both sit down, talk before work, after work, on a weekend when we're not working, if there is one. Because if it's important enough to you to do it on your time, I always say, when you're not punched in, then I'm more willing to give you my time to listen. And if it's right in the heart of the busy day, when I have everybody else to keep moving forward and keep going, then it's really hard to take that time, you know? And what happens? Your adrenaline's going. I mean, I compare it to we're in battle, right? So don't ever approach the boss or give the boss a pushback in the middle of the battle. Wait until the battle's over and the opposition isn't coming at us at the time.
Yeah.
And then sit down and talk about it.
Yeah, when you're back at the camp and dust is settled. Yeah. That makes sense.
And if it's something that involves the whole group, then explain it, and then I'll have a company meeting and then sit down and sort it out.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think communication is, and in a way, we might not feel comfortable sometimes just sharing, what's wrong. Depending on your personality, I think some people will just speak their mouths loud every second. But yeah, no, that helps. I think that's a good point to know that you can go and talk to the boss anytime.
Always.
After the battle, like you say, which makes sense. And yeah, that helps. I mean.
And the other thing is, if you just look at your phone conversation, your WhatsApp with your boss. Yeah. Look at the conversations. Yeah. Who initiates them? You just go through a month's worth of, don't do it one day. Yeah. Take a month and just like, he did, I did, he did, mark them down. And see how many times you initiated the conversation or the boss did. Yeah. And you need to be initiating more than the boss. Yeah. Because the boss tries to give some free rein to the employee so you don't feel like he's always on his butt, always finding everything wrong, right? Yep. But you can only wait so long, and then it's like, he should have been done hours ago. What's going on? Yeah. So he's seeking, feedback. Yeah. Keep the boss updated. Keep him updated on how the project's going. If you're out there supposed to be tilling the field, tell him things are going good and we're about half done. Yeah. So then when he looks back, it was 3 o'clock when he said that. He went down there at noon. It's 7:30. I'll give him a little time. 8 o'clock. What's up? I run out of fuel. And the boss doesn't want to find out that you ran out of fuel and you're trying to fix your screw up by yourself. When you ran out of fuel, you need to tell him
immediately.
Right now.
Yeah.
Because he might have a guy coming from the shop that could throw a jug of fuel on. Yeah. Instead, it's 2 hours of screwing around to get the exact same thing accomplished. Because you took that option away from him by not keeping him informed.
So communicate, keep
three things. Your boss. The only thing you got to understand is 3 things. Communicate and communicate. If you do those 3 things, everything else will fall into place.
That's awesome.
It really will.
Mike, thanks for your time. I think we've been going over an hour now, so I think there's a lot of editing and information.
I hope that's a 5-minute video.
Yeah, we'll short it down. But what's nice is I've got a podcast, so I'll just unedit it, throw it on the podcast, so that a lot of people actually on YouTube, which is amazing, and I never knew about it, is they listen to podcasts.
Right, going down the road.
Yeah, they'll put it in their ear and listen to it. And so the videos I just make for those that sort of watch, they want to see. Sure. But I appreciate your time.
Before you cut it off, I want to show you the amount of paperwork it takes to instrument this program from our side. Okay. So that when somebody's sitting at home wondering, what's going on? Yeah. He hired me, but he's not sending me, the agent needs his number. You got to get a number, Yeah. They don't understand that it's not in our control. Yeah. We send our applications in to the dole. They have to process it. And then like ourselves, see, Ray's just himself, so he doesn't have to go to the step, but we have to go to San Francisco and get approved as well because we're what's it called? Farm labor contractor. So because we're for hire and we work off our farm and do work for other farms and stuff. So that takes another whole level of approval. Yeah. Then takes another 30 to 45 days to get that all back. And then when that's all done, when you get done with the state, then you get done with the dole. You got the Department of Labor in the state, and then the Department of Labor in the federal government, and then you got San Francisco for us for farm labor contractor, and then it goes back to San Francisco to USCIS, which is Homeland Security, for all the checks of, background checks of you guys, background checks of us. Yeah. Everything's got to be kosher. Then we finally get the number, and then it gets sent to you guys so you can do your DS1
Yeah.
first.
So during this whole process, is there the agent? Where does the agent come in?
So the agent, for like us, we do 100% everything, but we send it to the agent to proof it, and just in case we need a candidate here or there, it leaves that ability to see the CVs. But and also for legislation help and whatnot, they help. If we got the DOL or the dole that's just dragging their feet and stuff, they have some numbers where they can put some pressure on and help that procedure. So otherwise, it's an expense for not a lot of help, you know. But they do also, hey, you got to get that application, hey, you know, to get timely, because you're not thinking about, you know, cripes, it's Christmas time already. We're supposed to have it in there, you know. So
you probably have to start already.
Yeah, 2 months ago, which is insane that it takes that long.
So you would apply for a certain amount of workers. I mean, you have to be approved for. Okay, he's.
You can't just say I need 15 workers. Okay, you have to prove financially that you have the work for them, financially that you can pay them, and you have to prove that what you're requesting cannot be had by a local. Because if there's somebody local that wants your job, you must hire them. Not before you're hired, but because they won't allow us to hire you until they've done that search. Because the federal government puts an ad out and posts this job. So if you have anybody that come in and apply for the job, they darn well better not be qualified to do it, or you could get in trouble.
Okay.
You're supposed to hire. Because it's not to replace American workers.
Yeah,
it's because
there's lack of labor.
Yes.
And maybe for that skill, maybe. So from start to finish with paperwork, hiring H2A, you have to submit all these documents, get approval. Okay.
Pay every step of the way.
Pay. You have to do most of the work, you say, and then the agent sort of just come in between. And
I mean, we've done it 8 years. We know exactly what we got to do. Right?
Yeah, so it's easy for you.
Even if the agent's helping, I mean, it's like, here, you must fill this out. It's not like they're filling it out. You fill it out, get it back to them. You know. So it's kind of like doing your taxes. You know, you must get all this stuff together, and then somebody just puts it in the boxes, right?
Okay.
But just grab your phone, and we'll go around the corner here, and I'll show you 1 year's work in flight for the H2A.